You're listening to Coog Radio. Listen live online at coogradio.org.
All right. Welcome to Movie Talks with Griffin and Eric.
Woohoo.
You,
The episode we were not anticipating,
yes.
but ended
last
up having to
episode
do.
went a little long. Are you tired of Star Wars yet? Talking about it?
Nope. In fact, we probably could have gone on a good another few hours
Oh,
yesterday.
yeah. On a few of those movies for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Haven't said enough.
Today
Mhm.
we're going to be talking about the two non-trilogy Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
The ones that are kind of, I don't know, I guess they're called standalones, spin-offs, whatever you want to call them.
I would just call them they're still Star Wars movies. They're just non-trilogy.
I think Star Wars Solo, in the title it says a Star Wars story.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what they are. It's just a kind of a side story for characters that we either know or didn't previously know.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the first one, Solo.
Yeah.
We've talked about Han Solo in the past few episodes a good amount.
Mhm.
I've shown my disinterest with him
Yeah.
and how I'm not a huge fan of Solo. How do you feel about Solo?
I feel so neutral towards that movie.
Okay.
I didn't dislike it. I didn't like it.
Uh-huh.
Or bits and pieces where I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. Like when he's serving in the Imperial military, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Really, like the only notable thing I think I can remember actually kind of liking. The rest of the movie just kind of felt pointless to me.
Okay.
I don't think the actor was a bad choice necessarily, but like,
Yeah. So
overall,
when this movie came out, I believe we were somewhere in high school.
probably.
Early
I
high
didn't
school,
watch
I
it
think.
until years after it came out.
Really?
either.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw it in theaters. I just remember in that moment watching it, I loved it. It was
Really?
one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
That's so weird.
But there hadn't been many Star Wars movies been releasing.
That's true.
This was, I think, just after Force Awakens, a year after Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So we weren't really bombarded with the whole multiple Star Wars projects a year like we are now. So in the theater, after the theater, those next few weeks and months, I really liked it. I rated the movie really high in all of my Star Wars lists.
Yeah.
But after rewatching it at home, thinking about it, watching some videos on it, it's not as high. I feel like I kind of sit where you sit with it on it right now. It's just kind of dull in some moments.
Yeah.
Acting choice I thought was good.
Yeah.
I forgot his name. It's like something Edgar, whatever. I don't know.
Allan Poe.
Yeah, Edgar Allan Poe plays Han. But there were a good amount of things about the movie that I did like.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've watched the movie, so admittedly, I don't remember everything. The Darth Maul cameo was cool.
Yeah, at the very
I did
end.
like to see them expanding on Darth Maul being alive. I think that's the first time if anyone had just ignored all of Star Wars and only watched the live action movies.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time it was confirmed Darth Maul was alive.
Yeah.
So that was cool. I like that they used the same actor. And then I also like that also expanded a bit on Darth Maul running the underworld.
Yeah. Not necessarily the Darth Maul running it, but they just expanded on the underworld and how the crime works. And a lot of
different syndicates and stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of the syndicates and kind of how that operates.
Yeah. Like I said, there's small lore things and then some small moments in the movie I thought were interesting. And the rest of the movie I didn't really feel like served its purpose. I thought the droid rights thing was really annoying.
Okay.
That's like my only like big gripe, I guess.
Yeah.
With the movie.
I mean, we've seen stuff on droid rights kind of a little bit, not in a full live action movie, but some of the TV shows they've touched on it.
This one felt weird to me compared to how they had done it in the past, I guess.
Yeah.
Because in the past it was more just about like we don't allow your kind in here, like in the original trilogy in episode 4.
Yeah.
And then you have the more like treating them more like people rather than as like droids. I like it when they do that a bit more because it feels a lot less on the nose, I guess.
When they treat them like
just treating them better.
Okay, like people.
Yeah, basically. I feel like
Lando
that.
Does.
Huh?
Like Lando does. He treats them like people.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
rather than the whole like, we want droid rights with
Yeah.
thing. It just kind of is
Okay. I think
a little too on the nose for me.
I didn't mind like that as a concept in a Star Wars movie. I don't
Right.
mind, but I feel like they should have gone more into the history of the droids.
Right, because I mean, you gotta remember the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
You had an entire droid
Exactly.
army like
Yeah.
massacring people.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they did. I don't really know if they talked a whole lot about that.
I don't think they did at all.
It was just kind of like droids aren't people.
Mhm.
They shouldn't be allowed in places to do things, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if they would have talked about the Clone Wars and how the droids were on the opposing side of the Republic, that would have been a good addition to that movie.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not really that big a deal. It's
Mhm.
probably like the only thing I can think of that I remember actively disliking. But yeah, no, I just feel like it just feels kind of like a bowl of cream of wheat to me.
Okay, I don't know that analogy, but
Just bland.
okay, okay. How do you feel about Lando and Donald Glover playing him?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
thought he
really
was really
liked
good.
it.
I thought he was good.
I think he played really Lando pretty well.
I mean, Donald
Um,
Glover's a really good actor. He's pretty good at pretty much everything he does.
Yeah.
I thought he was a good cast.
Mhm.
Thought he was a better cast than Han was.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think they were still both pretty good, but
Yeah, I
I
mean-
would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, no one's gonna replace Harrison Ford as Han Solo. You know?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
not possible.
he did.
Well, but like actually, you
Okay.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they're
Anybody
gonna
Replace him.
use him again?
No,
Okay.
I hope not. Not because I don't like him, just because I'm sick of this era of Star
Yeah.
Wars. I want to move either
I know you
far in the
don't- you
future
don't
or
want him
far in the
to.
past.
But do you think they're going to? Do you think they're going to capitalize on Han Solo as a character?
I don't
again?
think they will.
Okay.
Because Solo, I remember when it came out, didn't do that great,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of backlash and a lot of pushback. I actually think Solo was after The Last Jedi.
Was it? Okay.
I think so, because I think Rogue One came out after
Rogue-
Force
It
Awakens.
was Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi, Solo. Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And so, yeah, Star Wars was not in a great place when that movie came out.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of backlash around it, and I don't think they have any plans of bringing him back.
Mhm.
They might as a cameo, maybe, or they might use him for a flashback. But I don't see.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
I was thinking there was a slight chance he'd show up in Andor.
Oh yeah, I suppose you're
'cause
right.
It's that same time era
Yeah.
that he would have been. I believe he would have been smuggling during Andor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Though
With Chewie.
Andor does take place closer to, like episode 4 than it does.
Well, yeah, that means
Yeah.
he would be with Chewie
Yeah.
smuggling, right? So I just thought there was a slight chance, maybe even a reference. But we'll talk about Cassian Andor and his show a little bit later when we talk about Rogue One.
Only
but
watched one episode.
You only lost one.
I've only
Wow.
watched one episode.
Okay, well we'll wait. I'll briefly bring it up later.
Okay.
But yeah, what do you think? I heard a lot of people disliking what they did to the Falcon.
Oh, like how it looked a little different.
No, how so Lando had I guess you'd call her a love interest robot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
how she pretty much got programmed into it.
Mm-hmm.
How they I guess kind of rewrote. I don't know if rewrote is the right word, but they added lore to the Falcon, which wasn't previously there.
See, I don't remember that.
I heard, yeah, it was like that robot had a bunch of navigation tools that they needed to plug in to the
Mhm.
Falcon to get somewhere. I think it was to actually do the Kessel Run. I don't remember.
Probably. I don't know.
I could be completely wrong on that. But I know that robot got plugged into the Falcon,
Mm-hmm.
and is now is the Falcon.
Part
is
of the crew, part of the ship.
Yeah, like is the mind of the Falcon.
Uh-huh.
And even during the originals, it was canon that that Lando's robot was the Falcon.
I mean, I don't really have an issue with that because it doesn't change anything.
Yeah. Do you think you don't think they're like disrespecting
No.
the originals at all with that? Okay.
No, I don't think so. I mean, if anything, it just maybe makes sense as to why the ship is so good.
Yeah. That would
Because
explain
it's
some stuff.
it's a thinking ship as opposed to just the ship.
Yeah, it has a programmed, intelligent robot's mind in the ship.
Yeah, yeah, that doesn't bug me whatsoever. I think it's fine. The only reason I would have an issue with it is if that then caused some things not to hold up in the original trilogy, which I don't think that would.
I don't believe so. No.
So
I mean, we know it was Lando's ship.
yeah.
But another thing about Lando's ship is I don't know how much you remember about like the Sabacc games that they played.
I know they played Sabacc. I don't remember the details.
Okay,
I
so
assume somebody
earlier-
cheated, but
Yeah, so earlier in the movie, when Han showed up, I believe they were looking for a ship.
that
And
too I remember.
Lando was playing. He was running the table. He even looked like he owned the club. Like that's how popular he was. And then Han found out he was cheating.
Yeah.
I don't remember how he gained the ship. I think he like then I think they left together. And then at the end of the movie, he goes back and he reverse cheats, I guess.
Yeah.
He reverse cheats, making it so Han wins the ship, and that's how he won the ship. So I like that kind of lore between Han and Lando that we don't get in the originals. I like how they expanded upon that a little bit more.
Yeah, overall, I don't really have a whole lot to say about Solo, personally. I have probably more to say about Rogue One than I do Solo. I still don't have a whole lot to say about either, though.
Okay. I felt like Solo it was just kind of mediocre, but it didn't, I think it's mediocre because it didn't try to do anything real special.
Yeah.
Like, I think
they played it real safe.
They played it safe, which is a good thing or a bad thing because with the sequel trilogy, I feel like some of those movies were not playing it safe at all.
No, they weren't playing it safe, but not because they were trying to not play it safe, but because they didn't know what they were doing.
Well, yeah. I think Solo played pretty safe. I'm glad it's a movie. I think I've gone back and forth about like what I prefer they just not make a movie on Han. But
Yeah.
I'm glad it's a movie.
I could live without it.
Okay.
But I'm not like mad it exists.
Yeah. I'm glad it's part of the universe. But outside of the sequels.
Gotcha.
But let's go ahead on to the next Star Wars story.
Rogue One, the first Star Wars story to come out.
Yeah.
Which was kind of interesting.
This movie ties in directly to A New Hope.
It does. I like this movie probably more than all of the other newer movies to come out.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because I think it's probably the best one.
I also
easily.
think that.
So
yeah.
I think it expanded the lore pretty good.
Yeah, about
in a
how
way that
the
made
control
sense.
of the Empire. Stuff about Kyber crystals and how they were collecting them for the Death Star.
Even how the Death Star had such a glaring weakness in it.
Yep.
Help with that plot hole a little bit.
Yeah, because that was sort of a plot hole some people were not too happy about with the originals, but like there's just a hole there that could blow up the entire Death Star. Like why? Yeah. But then it makes sense that they had an inside person, an engineer, one of the top engineers.
He was like the guy. He was him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did some sneaky work to install that hole. And his daughter, the main character, Jyn, right?
Pretty sure her name's Jyn Erso, yeah.
Jyn Erso, yeah. Was, I guess, the main character, but she ended up being the one to retrieve those plans, the Death Star plans, which ended up in Princess Leia's hands.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is a great way to tie it back into the originals. I
gotta say the de-aging, or not the de-aging, the CG for Leia and Tarkin. Even though it was a little wonky, pretty good.
Tarkin, they should have just recast, I think.
Here's the funny thing with Tarkin is like when he's standing still and he's not talking or moving, it looks perfect. And then the second he starts talking, you're like, ooh.
Yeah. I think Leia looked great.
But she also didn't really speak much, I don't think.
I think all she said was hope, I think.
Yeah.
Was her only line. But I also think they used cutout clips from the originals to help with that CGI.
Yeah, I really I love seeing Tarkin and stuff.
Yeah, I like Tarkin.
He's a horrible guy, but he's such a like interesting, fun character.
Yeah.
I like him.
Even if, and then I believe his name was Krennic.
Krennic, yeah.
God,
what a guy.
I really liked his story in that movie. I was not expecting to see like a full story of an Imperial leader, like commander.
No, he definitely has an interesting story, and I definitely liked it.
How Tarkin kind of stole the fame from him.
Yeah.
About the Death Star.
But man, is Krennic just a little baby, man. That dude is wearing a diaper 24/7.
And then a lot more Vader scenes.
Vader scenes were super cool.
Vader scenes.
His hallway scene. Totally unnecessary. Loved it.
Loved it. He was just letting out his rage.
Yep.
But even like during the movie, like his interactions with Krennic.
Yeah, just seeing him not be the Vader that we've seen for so long and actually like lead.
Yeah.
The Empire.
I mean, lead with force.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was
you know,
good.
when I say lead, I mean like not operating in a military. Like he's not going out there to fight people or whatever. Like in the original trilogy, you kind of see him, but he's just mostly walking around telling people what to do.
Yeah.
Whereas in this movie, he's a lot more like the CO, the commanding officer.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's got a lot more power. Plus, we get to see Mustafar, his Mustafar temple, whatever it's called.
Yep. That was nice to see.
That was cool.
Interesting story decision. You know, just kind of in all for Vader there. Be like, I wonder how personal he holds Mustafar.
Yeah.
Because it's not just a hideout where I believe the Senate, some like separatist senators hid out there. That's why he initially went there, was to kill the.
So the reason he went to Mustafar, as Anakin, well, right after he turned, was to kill all of the people from the separatist, like military.
Yeah, I don't know if they were senators or what they were.
I think they were like the Techno Union guys, banking clan people, all the ones that like they aren't part of the Senate. They're the ones that they were like the conspirators in the military.
Yeah, he went there.
He went there to kill them, killed them, and then Padme showed up. The whole battle happened, and then he decided to build his stronghold there as like a reminder.
Yeah,
to like help fuel him, I guess.
Yeah, because that's also where he killed Padme.
No, well, he didn't kill her there. No, I'm pretty sure Padme died from grief.
No,
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
They say that.
I mean, I'm sure being choked out and given a concussion before birth is not good. But I find it hard to believe that that wasn't like something they could save her from with their technology.
I guess that makes sense. But yeah, Vader personally feels like he killed Padme.
Yeah, well, I mean, he kind of did.
Yeah,
he kind of did.
And his whole duel with Obi-Wan happened there, and very personal spot for him. But back onto Rogue One, the grittiness of it, I loved the grittiness of it.
Yeah, I mean,
it felt like a war movie.
I don't know if it quite felt like a war movie. There were times it did for sure. Like on Seraph is the name of the planet.
I think so. Yeah, that's where they had all of the
plans and stuff.
All the plans and.
That was cool. The space fight going on up top was cool. I liked that. I really liked the ground combat of them like taking on the walkers and stuff. And another thing I liked this movie did is everybody dies.
Yeah,
I was so happy we didn't get like this standard.
They barely make it out.
Yeah, barely make it out. But now they do barely get the plans out.
Yes,
but everybody sacrifices their life because I mean
they got the plans.
Yeah, they said I'm pretty sure in the original trilogy, like a lot of people died to get this information.
Yeah,
and a lot of
which I like movies like that. One of my favorite movies, Avengers: Infinity War, has the heroes losing, but I think in this scenario, yes, they died, but they didn't lose.
No, they didn't lose. They completed their objective.
Yeah,
they got what they wanted, got what they came there for. And then they died afterwards.
And I don't know how small it is, but one thing I feel like happens in a lot of movies or TV shows is when you have a male and female leads, when you have two male-female leads, no, not one male, one female lead,
Mhm.
that there's usually some attraction between them, you know?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. Like, I don't really have an issue with that, the romance aspect.
I just think
Though
it's
I do,
overused.
I would agree. I
lot.
do feel that
And I
like
liked how
they don't
they
need to
just
fall
didn't.
in love every time.
Yeah. And I
It's-
like here they just didn't. They were just friends.
Yeah.
They grew stronger through fighting the Empire.
Yeah.
And they grew friends, and then they died just what were they, hugging or holding hands?
I think
Forgot on the
they
beach.
it was either hug or hold hand.
Yeah. I mean, they
hold.
could easily have made them kiss there, and
Yeah.
they didn't, which was
I'm
good. A good
pretty
decision.
sure. I can't remember. Do you remember what blows up the planet? Is it the Death Star? I don't think it is.
It
It might have been.
it might have been.
Which does open up the door of like, well, why were they trying to test?
It was yeah. So it was an early test of it.
Okay.
So it wasn't as strong as the one. Yeah, it wasn't as strong as the ones they've used in the future. So
Mhm.
I don't think I didn't like instantly obliterate the planet. You know, like when they are escaping after talking to Saw Gerrera,
Mhm.
they use the Death Star on forgot what the planet called, but they used the Death Star on that deserty planet.
Yeah.
Or that rocky desert planet. And like what we've seen with the Death Star is it instantly just explodes
Yeah.
the planet. But here, because it's in the early stages, it's almost like a giant shockwave that
Mhm.
will eventually obliterate the planet, but it's not instant. So they were
Gotcha.
able to fly out and escape in that scenario.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah. Like I said, I haven't seen. I've only seen both these movies once.
Definitely rewatch Rogue One.
I will
Solo you can
eventually.
live without, but
Yeah.
Rogue One, I think is definitely worth a rewatch.
Yeah, I definitely think I know where I'm going to put it on the tier list, and I have a feeling I'll probably move it higher once I rewatch it.
Yeah.
But just on the safe end, I know where I'm putting it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I know you haven't watched a lot of it, so I won't spoil it. But Andor,
I've heard Andor's great.
Andor is the same. Gives me the same emotions and the same kind of theme as Rogue One, like grittiness, war, like those sort of themes there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I watched the first episode, and the only reason I haven't continued is just because my Disney Plus, it bugs out. I think I've gotten a hang of it. I think I just have to skip into the episode a little bit, and
Interesting.
it'll bypass it. Because for whatever reason, whenever it gets to the Disney Plus where it does a little boom,
Yeah.
it freezes every time.
Weird. Is it your TV that's the issue or?
No, it's just on my computer.
Huh.
But I only really watch it on my computer.
Yeah. Maybe try watching on your TV. Maybe.
Yeah. So, but I got it fixed, kind of.
Nice.
I'll probably start it eventually. I just caught up with Mandalorian. I think another episode came out today.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
And then I just caught up with the Bad Batch. So,
I'm one episode away on the Bad Batch. We'll see.
oh my gosh.
We'll see the final
been good.
episode. Not a huge fan, but
Not a huge fan
Not
of
a
the
huge
last
fan.
few episodes.
just the entire show in general.
Really? I thought the season's been pretty good.
I only
for the most
like
part.
the scenes where the Bad Batch aren't in it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so weird because I am kind of the opposite.
Really?
Though I do really like the scenes, like the Crosshair episode
Yeah.
with the
The
snow,
multiple Crosshair episodes.
the snow one. That
Yeah.
one was great.
The episodes with Rex.
Super good. Yeah, Rex, Cody.
Yeah, the
Um,
episodes where the Bad Batch aren't in it.
Well, I haven't gotten to these last two are really good. The final one more so than the second to last one.
Okay.
But yeah, we can talk about that.
But yeah,
off air.
Andor. I think it really stuck to what made Rogue One good.
Mhm.
And they didn't. It was small scale. They didn't try to do anything fancy.
Yeah.
It was a really good prequel to Rogue One and that character Andor.
Mhm.
But so we talked about both those movies. Feel like we got a good sense of how we feel about them at this moment. Want to get into the tier lists?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Let me set this up real quick.
Swap the scene.
All right. If you're just listening to this, we apologize. You're not able to visually see our tier lists on the screen.
Yeah, I mean, it should be up by the time this episode even airs live. It should be also on YouTube.
It should be on YouTube.
So. No biggie.
But if you're looking at the screen now, the left side is my tier list. The right side is Griffin's. We're just going to be going over the 9 live action movies
Yes.
that have released, even though we have talked about some of the other Star Wars projects. We're not going to put those in the tier list as this is movie talks.
The only movie we're leaving out is the Clone Wars. which maybe we can not talk about and just throw it on there at the end.
Yeah. I've only seen that once.
I've seen it
ago,
like
but
4 or 5 times.
interesting,
It's
okay.
weird. Yeah.
Let's see. This one's yours. Okay. Well, first movie on here is A New Hope.
Yeah.
Now, I want to say how
Mhm.
a little bit about how I do my ratings for movies.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I think of movies as two different criteria: how much I enjoy them
Mhm.
and how good of a movie I think it is.
I do more or less the same as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's some movies that I just enjoy so much that I watch, not necessarily Star Wars, but that I just watch for enjoyment. I don't necessarily think they're super well produced or well acted, but I enjoy watching them.
Yeah.
And then there's opposite of that,
Mhm.
where there's movies where I think are very well produced, well acted, and I can recognize that, but not be a huge fan of
Mhm.
it. So for my rankings today, I'm going to be doing the first option, just my enjoyment of these movies.
I'm going to be doing the same.
It's good that we said that
Yeah.
before we go into our
Yeah.
lists. First one is A New Hope. You want to start out?
I'll start it out.
We got S tier at the very top, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and F tier.
I am putting A New Hope in A tier.
A tier movie.
I very much enjoy this movie.
Okay. Right one. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay. A tier for A New Hope.
Mhm.
Okay. Why? Why A tier? Why not S?
We went over, a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
I feel like there's just so much going on in this movie. Like there's never a dull moment. Again, aside from like the very beginning. It's got cool introduction. The introduction to the movie is super fun. I really like the dynamic of them just like running around on the Death Star trying to get off of it, basically.
Okay.
It's got some good moments like Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader. Narratively was great. Just stuff like that. My only thing is, the trench run scene could have been a little shorter,
Yeah.
but overall isn't really that big a deal. I wouldn't put it S because there are things I like more, I guess.
Other movies you like more.
Like
Yeah.
okay. Like in terms of enjoyment, like I really do enjoy this movie, and that's why it's an A tier.
Yeah.
But there are movies I enjoyed more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for me, my list on this movie, I'm gonna put it D tier. Now it's why you don't have to shake your head because this is just my
enjoyment.
my enjoyment level while watching the movie. Now I didn't put it at F because I still, when watching it, I still feel the not necessarily nostalgia, but the sense of just like how important this movie was.
Mhm.
I still get that. I still enjoy the world and the story that was set up
Yeah.
and how it is, the foundation for all of Star Wars. So D tier is pretty low.
Yeah,
but that
is
just
very
my
low.
enjoyment, and
Yeah.
it is what it is.
I can't be as mad with how we're doing this tier list than if we were doing on how good we think they are.
Yes, if we're going how like well produced, like quality
Mhm.
movie, then my list would be different.
Yeah, same. Mine wouldn't be too much different, but it would definitely have some changes for sure.
Okay, I'll start this one. We got episode 2, Attack of the Clones. For me, I've rewatched this movie a few times. I like it each time. I like it more each time I watch it.
See, I swap back and forth every time I watch this movie. I'll watch it and I'll be like, this is horrible.
Uh-huh.
And then I'll watch it and be like, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And then I'll watch it again and I'm like, no, it's just.
Yeah, the scenes that people say they don't like, I like. And the scenes they say they like, I still like. So there's a lot of the movie I like.
I'm in the crowd of the scenes everyone likes, I like. The scenes everyone doesn't like, I don't like.
Yeah, you just follow the norm, like always.
Well, it's because the norm's right. But
I'm gonna go with B.
B? Okay.
Yeah, pretty solid. Not not A or S. It's not up there.
I'm gonna put it C.
C. Okay.
Bottom of C, but C.
Okay. Well, you don't have anything else in C, but
Right.
yeah. Okay, so we got a flip-flopped list already.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it might be flip-flopped.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get on to the next one. Next one is Rebels, Star Wars Rebels. That's the TV show, which I think we've both seen.
We have both seen it.
But and then Star Wars Resistance.
Haven't seen
I
that.
haven't seen
I don't
it either.
intend to either.
Is that canon?
I don't even know. It probably is. I think
know
it's on
it
Disney
has
Plus.
Kylo Ren in it.
It's probably on
and
Disney.
BB-8.
It probably is canon.
I might try it. I don't know. I know
Your brother
I've heard
said it
it's-
wasn't.
I've heard it's
great.
very lot more kiddish than the other animated TV shows.
Yeah.
This is like, bottom of the line for childness. But Return of the Jedi is next. Now for me, I've rewatched this movie a few times.
Mhm.
Like I've said before, like the ending of that movie, the last 30 minutes, it might just be because I had that disc that had that issue,
Maybe.
But I've only seen the ending a few times, and I love the ending.
Ending is the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the kind of the goofiness with the Ewoks.
Yeah.
But in all, I'm gonna put it B tier as well. And put it above Attack of the Clones.
See, here's an interesting thing for me. I'm gonna do the same thing, but in C tier.
Same scene in C tier. So you're
Yep.
gonna put it in C tier above Attack of the
Clones.
Clones. Okay. Interesting. Okay.
I really do not enjoy the majority of the movie that much.
okay.
I don't dislike it. Again, I like I'll sit through it,
Yeah.
but I'm not that engaged.
Yeah.
for
You
most
mentioned
of
how
it.
you weren't a huge fan of the stuff that happened on Tatooine with Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah. It's not bad, but it's not
Yeah.
good in my opinion.
Yeah.
In terms of how much I like it.
Boba Fett was definitely in the entire trilogies underutilized.
Yeah.
Completely.
So the last 30 minutes it really carries this movie
Uh-huh.
for me.
I would agree with that.
Mhm.
Let's go with the next movie. We got
Do you need me to come
Revenge
look
of
at
the
it?
Sith.
Revenge of the Sith? Okay.
episode 3. How about you start with this one?
S tier.
S tier.
I love this movie.
Okay.
Great.
That's the only S for you right now,
Yep.
but we'll see if more show up. Me also S tier.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie
how
is
can it not be?
incredible.
So many good moments. It's
So many
funny.
good moments. Very funny. Well, how funny is it?
It's-
Where the funny
Okay,
come from?
I'll be honest. The funny is enhanced heavily by the memes.
Okay.
Heavily.
Okay. Yeah, the memes. Okay. Just kind of the meme culture
it's also
around
got-
the originals.
It also has some humor in it as well.
It's got a little bit, yeah. I
Mhm.
think I would say in all that trilogy, it's the most serious.
Yeah.
But it's still got that kind of generational humor, Star Wars humor that is enjoyable.
Mhm.
Okay, next movie is Rogue One, the one we just talked about. See, I am on the fence here. I think I'm probably gonna put it. I'm gonna put it A tier. I'm so close to putting it S tier, but it's right there on the edge of A and S.
Yeah.
But I think Revenge of the Sith deserves. I think it deserves the only S spot on my list.
See, I am gonna put it in B.
B tier. Okay.
B
You
tier.
need to rewatch it.
And yeah, like I said, upon a rewatch, that will probably bump up to A.
Yeah.
But for now,
yeah, well, yeah.
I'm throwing it into B.
Okay. And I think also if you finish Andor, that might change your perception on
It might
that
enhance my
character
opinion
and
as well.
and
Yeah.
on the movie. Which I haven't rewatched Rogue One since watching Andor.
Mhm.
So that might be interesting to
Maybe when I finish the show, eventually we can do a rewatch of
rewatch Rogue One. Yeah. It'd be interesting to get a sense of how that character ends up in that state with the rebels.
Yeah.
Next one, I'll let you start this one. It is another one we talked about today, Solo.
Solo is going to be my middle C tier.
Middle C tier. Okay, so
Middle C tier. Actually, no,
Okay,
D tier.
it's hovering. D.
D tier.
Okay,
Yeah. I thought about it and I was like, no, I'd still rather watch the other ones.
interesting. Rather watch the other sequels.
No.
Or-
The other movies in C tier.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
I would pick those over Solo.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Pretty mediocre. Didn't try anything too special. I'm gonna put it in C tier. Like I said, I still had a very enjoyable first viewing of this movie.
Mhm.
I don't know what it was. Maybe it's just high school or something. But
Maybe.
I
Who
really
knows?
I remember on my phone I had at that time, like I don't know, 5 years ago or whatever it was. On my phone I had my favorite movies of all time on the list.
Oh, really?
You know what number it was?
What?
9,
Oh, wow.
which is crazy for Solo.
Yeah.
It's obviously dropped a lot more since then.
Mhm.
But just at the time, I enjoyed it a
Yeah.
lot. Might have just been the whole theater experience.
We should do an episode going over our favorite movies of all time.
We should.
Yeah,
should.
It'd be fun.
I mean, my list doesn't have Solo on there anymore. But
No, I don't
I've
think
got
my
a
list ever
really
had
good
Solo on
list.
it.
I doubt it. Yeah. But yeah, a solid C tier movie.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that just because I put that in C tier and A New Hope in D tier doesn't mean I don't like the movie. I don't like the movies at all.
Mhm.
Some of them, like the movies, I would say generally, as movies go, are on the high end
Mhm.
of enjoyment compared to all movies.
Yeah.
But some of them have to be lower than others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that kind of the same for you? I mean, obviously
Yes.
not all of the movies.
It's gonna get a little bit different for me when we get to the sequels.
Yes, of course.
But
Yes, we've talked about
it-
that.
Because I think you might be slightly surprised by my sequel rankings. Maybe.
We'll see. Yeah, I haven't seen that art before. That's kind of cool. I'd like to see that upscaled. Empire Strikes Back is the next one.
See, this one I'm torn on.
I mean, you've told me some stuff about this movie that you like, obviously,
Mhm.
and how much you like it. But I've also heard like some incredible things, how this movie is so highly graded and stuff.
Yeah.
I personally don't see it a whole lot, but where would you put it?
I think I'm gonna put it in A tier
A tier?
below
A New Hope?
below A New Hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's left is higher, right?
Yeah, the closer it is to the letter, the higher it is.
Yes.
And the farther away, the
Yeah,
lower.
I've been doing that right. Okay. What does A New Hope do that Empire doesn't?
I think it
you?
has more consistently going on to keep you engaged.
You think
I think
it's the
Empire-
Dagobah section that made it go down?
I think Dagobah definitely hurts it in terms of
Okay.
enjoyment. I also think it, not even specifically Dagobah, but what's going on with the other characters
yeah.
while Dagobah is going on,
Yeah.
combined is just like a whole lot of. It's very slow. It has Empire is very like this in terms of like what's going on.
I can't see your hands.
Can't see my hands.
No.
Oh well, that's true. They will eventually.
No, the camera's not on. You just did
Oh,
this.
you're right. They're not on. Yeah.
He made a waving motion with his
It's
hand.
very.
A roller coaster of emotions of enjoyment.
Well, it
for
goes
you.
up and down in terms of
Yeah.
how much is happening.
Yeah. Okay.
There's at one moment there's a lot going on. It's super cool, super interesting,
Yeah.
and then the next moment you're like, man, why is he talking to this puppet, dude?
Okay. Let's get on to for me, I'm gonna put it C tier.
You know, that's higher than I was expecting.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's above A New Hope,
Mhm.
but just behind Solo.
Mhm.
Enjoyment, I enjoy Solo more.
Which baffles me, but you know,
I think it's just I don't have any emotional nostalgic connection to the originals.
Mhm.
So they're just kind of there for me. I still think they're well made, definitely for their time.
Yeah.
But their enjoyment is just kind of a little lackluster. And I'll do my next one. This is Force Awakens. I think, is it Force Awakens?
The Force Awakens.
The Force?
I think it's The Force Awakens.
It wouldn't be A Force. Yeah, The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens or Force Awakens.
That
Either way,
makes-
it doesn't matter much.
Yeah, that makes sense. A Force Awakens. Or no,
What?
The Force Awakens. I know we just talked about it. But I'm dealing with the computer.
Yeah, you're good.
The Force Awakens.
Mhm.
Which is. Do you have a spot for it?
I have a spot for
Okay,
it.
why don't you go first then?
I'm putting Force Awakens in D tier.
D tier.
Above
Ooh.
Solo.
Ooh, I was checking if you could hear the mic,
Mhm.
or if the mic would pick up my mouse. D tier.
D tier above Solo.
Above Solo.
Yep.
See, you said you'd surprise me with your rankings.
Mhm.
That doesn't surprise me one
The
bit.
next one might surprise you. Or the next couple might surprise you.
Well,
Well, maybe. We'll see.
I mean,
We'll
if
see.
if you lied to me last week,
No.
maybe it'll surprise me. But okay, I think this movie, I'm gonna go with C tier,
Mhm.
above Solo and Empire.
Okay.
Does that surprise you at all?
No, not one
No?
bit. Not
What,
one
C
bit.
tier?
No, I don't expect you to put. I don't expect any of these movies to be lower than your highest rated original trilogy movie.
Well, that's already false.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that slightly surprises me then, I
I
suppose.
put Return at B tier, Force
okay.
at C. But yeah, I think
The other two will definitely be.
I mean, this came out in 2015.
Want to say that, yeah.
I mean, I love Star Wars in theater.
Star Wars in theater is usually pretty good.
It'll always be great watching Star Wars in theater. Just the
And
whole
I actually really liked
experience.
this movie when it first came out, similar to
I
how
did
you
as
like
well.
Solo.
I do as well. It has dropped a little bit for me.
Same.
It used to be higher.
It dropped a lot for me, but yeah.
It dropped a lot for you because the public said for you not to like it.
No, that movie plus the other movies.
Okay. Well, yeah, solid C tier for me, above Solo, above Empire. Kind of the middle of the pack movie. Nothing super special about it. Good amount of things I dislike, but some I enjoy. For you, did you tell me a placement for it?
For Force Awakens?
Oh, you did. Yeah.
It was D
I already
above
got
Solo.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I did not. That was the wrong movie there. I got it figured out.
Figured it out.
I got it figured out. I
Fixed it.
accidentally put Rise of Skywalker. The art kind of looks similar.
Oh.
But next movie, Last Jedi. I think this is is this the least favorite? I mean, you follow
This
it.
is the
like
Ryan Johnson one. It's F
Yes.
tier for me.
But okay.
I'll
But
say
what I'm
it
saying is you follow the public's opinion very closely
on this one.
on all movies in general.
Not really.
So is this the lowest rated out of the trilogy? Or do people hate on this the most?
I don't know. I think
Mainly because of Luke.
I think the hate is pretty evenly divided between 8 and 9.
Okay.
I think people generally hate 9 more. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
Interesting. I know where this is going. You're not gonna like it.
I know exactly where it's going. Put it up there.
A tier.
Yeah.
I really like watching this movie. I'm not saying that I like the direction they went with Luke 100%.
Mhm.
But and those Rey Luke training scenes I'm not a huge fan of. Especially kind of the weird comedy they put in there. But the all the Kylo Ren scenes, especially the connection with Rey, I really like. And the whole minus Rose, but the whole ending scenes I really like
Yeah,
on that
I don't
mining
agree.
planet.
but it's fine.
Well, you can't say you don't agree to my opinion, can you?
I mean, I can disagree with your opinion.
Well, yeah,
That's
okay.
what I'm saying.
That makes
I
sense.
disagree
yeah.
with your opinion.
But
yeah.
you can't say my opinion is wrong. You know.
In
'Cause
terms
how
of
can
how
you
much
tell
you
me
how much
how
and,
I
and how
feel?
much you enjoyed the movie, no. If your
Yeah.
opinion is the movie is good, then I will disagree with you.
Well, when I say good, normally I mean my enjoyment level was high.
Gotcha. See, when I say good, I mean the movie was good.
I mean, what I'll usually go back and say, I think this movie was well made. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll get into our favorite movies later and kind of how we think about them and why those are our favorite movies.
All right, hit us with the next one.
Next one is episode 1,
Phantom Menace.
Yep.
I honestly don't know where I want to put this one.
I know exactly where I want to put it, so I'll go first.
Okay.
For me,
I think I know where I'm putting it.
Rewatching this movie a few times, I used to be my second favorite Star Wars movie.
Mhm.
I really liked it. Probably besides, I mean, it was very iconic for me.
Yeah.
All of the scenes, pod racing 100%. Like I remember Lego Star Wars pod racing. That was the best
That was
thing.
super
That was the
fun.
best thing
Love
when I
that,
was
yeah.
5 or 8 years old or whatever. And just the movie itself, I really liked. Not necessarily super well made. I think some of the acting and some of the story decisions are questionable, but in all, I think it really good backstory for Anakin's young life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put it A tier, in between Rogue One and The Last Jedi.
Okay. I am putting this one B tier.
B tier.
Behind Rogue One.
Behind Rogue One. Okay. Okay, so Rogue One, Phantom Menace, both in B tier.
Yep.
Both of those are in A tier for me.
If Phantom Menace was just slightly faster paced, or a little bit more went on here and there, I think it'd be higher. For sure.
Where do you think they would have added that?
I think Tatooine could have used a little bit of something else.
Okay.
I think the pod racing scene was fine.
Yeah.
The bit with Maul was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then even the end, kind of during that, like when they were taking the castle back or whatever, the capital city, that felt a little slow sometimes. I don't know. They're just like every once in a while in the movie for like a minute or two, it kind of drags and it picks back up again.
Yeah.
And so I think without that, it would be easy for me.
Okay.
But I do like it.
I do too. Yeah. I think more Maul scenes.
More Maul scenes would have been cool. Yeah.
I mean, we only see him 3 times, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Maybe
3 or 4
some
times.
like I like that there were the lightsaber duels were kept to a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
But more Maul's just scenes in general.
Yeah.
Would have been nice. Like maybe we see him arriving on Tatooine and he kills like a guy and steals the speeder, and that's what he arrives on, you know?
Yeah. Or even just like maybe a little bit more Maul and Sidious.
Yeah. Them talking and figuring out what to do.
Foreshadowing their plans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Would have been cool. But I mean, I really don't have much gripe about this movie in terms of that.
Definitely. All right, we got one last live action movie to talk about.
We do. This one might surprise you.
Might surprise me.
Might surprise you.
Well, I'll go first since yours will be the shocker.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put mine in B tier. I'm gonna put mine in B tier. But where in B tier is the question?
What's your B tier again?
My B tier has Return of the Jedi. And Phantom Menace. No. Attack of the Clones. Sorry.
Okay. If I were you, I think it belongs below both of those.
That's where I initially placed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it there. I think it's kind of that movie. I mean, you said you don't watch TV, but I flip through channels every once in a while. That movie is on a lot.
Yeah.
Out of any other Star Wars movie than I know of. It's just on a lot. Not saying I'm getting old of it, but the scenes are running a little dull the more I see them.
Yeah.
But it's still B tier. It's still that's exactly middle, actually. I was gonna say it's in the lower half or the upper half, but it's the middle of the 9. So or the 9, 10, 11, sorry. 11 movies.
Yeah.
The middle of the 11. But let's get on to your final rating for this movie.
Bottom of C tier.
Bottom of C tier.
Mm-hmm.
That does surprise me because you lied to me last week.
No, so there's a reason. This one's funky. There's a reason for this.
Okay, let me hear it.
So not only did I say I did enjoy the Rey Kylo stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Aside from the relationship stuff at the end, I thought that dynamic was cool. The reason my enjoyment when I watched this movie is so much higher is because I went and saw it in theaters with Seth, Neo, Max.
Yeah.
I think
There's
maybe
a theater
Noah.
Experience.
And
that's something that comes with watching.
That was really fun because whenever something happened, I was so angry that like I was audibly or visually doing or saying something.
I like that though. I like it, whether you like the movie or not, whether you think it was a terrible decision, it got your emotions going.
Yeah,
which I
is
think
fine. Which is why I have it higher.
Is not it's their intention for good or worse. Their intention was for good, but either end of the spectrum, I feel like it brings out more emotion to the viewing.
I guess
either direction.
But yeah, all I remember is at the end of the movie when Rey goes, I'm Ray Skywalker. I put my hands on my face and my head in my lap, and the entire audience stood up and started clapping.
Well, it was the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So it was a very. They didn't clap for that reason.
No. They weren't clapping. They weren't clapping for me. They were clapping because
they were clapping for you.
So they were clapping for the movie was over. They were like, "That was great! Woo! Clap, 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 clap!" And I was just sitting there like in pain. I don't know. It was a fun experience. That's why I had it higher. Okay. If I were to take that experience out of it, the movie would probably be down in F tier. Maybe D. Maybe.
Okay. Well, our lists are pretty flip flop as expected.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting us to align on anything.
We aligned on the originals, or not the originals, the prequels.
Yeah,
pretty well. I'm surprised you didn't have Empire in S tier. Just because of the way, I know you've talked about how you like A New Hope more, but I remember in the past you really like an Empire. So I'm surprised that wasn't up a little bit higher, third place. I'm also surprised Return of the Jedi is so low on you, lower than mine. Which is
in terms of enjoyment. If we were doing on how good of a movie I think it is, it'd be higher.
Okay. But yeah, you talked about how you think it drags on. Yeah. In that before the final 30 minutes of that.
I think in one of my original lists I had it at C tier. So
okay, I'll have to look at my original list. The one we did can pull it like up 2 years ago.
Yeah, that one I don't think that one was more based off how good we thought the movies were. I'm pretty sure, rather than how much we enjoyed them.
And we didn't give as much thought as we did in here.
No, we just filled it out.
This is our fourth episode.
We've been talking about
Star
these
Wars. We're entering almost 4 hours of talking about Star Wars and about these movies. So it makes sense that we would probably have a better understanding of what we like now than we did 2 years ago, when we just kind of just posted it in Discord and just kind of went our way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is pretty good. And you good? I'm good. I was gonna take a picture of it or something. I don't know. But it'll be on YouTube.
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube.
If you're watching this live, thanks for watching live, I guess.
Yeah. This episode probably won't air for another 3 weeks, but it'll be out eventually. Our first Star Wars episode was airing while we were recording right now.
Yeah.
So definitely go back and check out the Star Wars episodes before watching this one, because you'll understand a lot more why we were putting things where we put them and how we feel. So
yeah, our socials, obviously cougradio.org. Listen to us live.
Yeah.
Should be up on Coug Radio's YouTube channel as well.
Yep.
And then you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook. Kind of keep up with what we're doing and our episodes and what we're releasing next.
Yeah.
If you want to watch a movie or see our thoughts on any of your favorite movies that we might be discussing, then come join us. Anything else?
I've got nothing else to add.
All right. Well, thanks for joining.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in.